Okay, I want you guys to listen to this young man and what he has to say about wealth in the United States, money, and the well-being of the American people. I'm MAGA, and I support Donald Trump. I'm not exactly sure what the end game is as far as the economy and the well-being of the American people. My opinion is simply, unless we get food and fuel costs down to like early 1960s levels, and we get interest rates plummeting and the cost of living becomes almost painless in the United States, you have to question what's the end game. And this young man hits on some interesting points. I want you to listen.
Hey, I'm Luke.
Luke?
Yes,
Like
Luke.
the hat. Good to meet you.
Oh, thank you very much. Good to meet you too. So I think incentives are exactly the fundamental problem with capitalism. Is that you say incentives are what make it work, and I think that's the whole issue. Is that the primary incentives are either greed, amass as much personal wealth as you possibly can.
You think that's the problem? It's greed?
Yeah, exactly. And
Because
like
you're not greedy at all.
and like
Okay, you see, I agree with that. The United States is almost $40 trillion in debt, and that's because of corruption. Okay, and when you think of healthcare in this country, you could be spending, like myself, you could be earning $2,000-3,000 a month, and I'm on the low end of things. And your employer can offer you healthcare, but the cost of the healthcare is half your salary. And even if you do need you need the healthcare, you go to the hospital, which I did recently. It doesn't cover. So what's the purpose of healthcare or insurance if, like this young man is saying, the profit margin, greed, is exceeding the ability of people to keep up with it? It's not attainable. Listen, I'm all for capitalism. Like I said, I'm MAGA. I'm a Republican, independent Republican. But I've known this for the longest time. I am not the most ambitious person in the world. I've never wanted to be a millionaire. All I really wanted was to be left the hell alone, to get what I need to get by, and that's biblical. That's biblical. But to have the time I need, and he touches on this, the Constitution and what it means to be happy and to pursue happiness. And I think a big part of that is economic freedom. And when he tries to address that, PBD kind of shifts. He kind of deflects. But I have to agree with this young man. Listen.
you said, survival,
Yeah.
right? The person working 5 jobs, that they're doing that to they
Sure.
they wouldn't want to do that if they didn't need to survive. But that's such a horrible dystopian world to live in. If someone has to work 5 jobs just to survive,
How did they get there? How much of that is on their decision making? How much of that is on their doing? How much of that is on the market where they're not finding ways to improve themselves?
it doesn't matter how much onus is on the individual. We want to create a world.
Of course it is.
No. See, we want to create a
onus
world
is on
in
you.
which people don't have to earn their right to
And
exist.
There you go. There you go. That's what true freedom is. That's what true freedom is. We're not talking socialism. We're not talking communism. We're talking about being left the fuck alone. That our government is so small and all the economic incentives around us are available, but the cost of living is so affordable that we can afford to just appreciate life. For those of you who are Christian, that's in line with the Lord's will. That's in line with heaven's will. Our time is precious. We weren't created to be serfs to the corporations in this country. We are not property, okay? And it shouldn't be where you have to work from the cradle to the grave just to exist, just to breathe in this country. We've been swindled, as far as I'm concerned. I think the government and the corporations of this country and the world have led humanity in I mean, there's a lot good to say about capitalism. Again, don't get me wrong, but the picture this young man is painting is saying, I mean, he's a young man, but he's like saying, look, what's the end game here? Are we ever going to have true freedom, or are we going to be held hostage by this economic climate that basically the intention is to basically rob us? is to hold us down. It's true oppression when you think about it.
And
To live.
we live in a country where majority of the world wants to come here. The most important citizenship country is America.
Right.
People give up their lives to come here. Have you ever lived in another country before?
No, not lived, no.
Why do you think so many want to come here?
I think the people.
Okay, I've lived and I've visited other countries, and I can tell you something. There are other countries where economically they don't have the kind of access to things as we do here. But there's peace there. People live a much more slower pace of life. They breathe easier, and they enjoy life and the simple pleasures of life: family, food, and love. Relationships. Just doing simple things. We as Americans, that should be one of the primary options we have under the Constitution: the right to pursue happiness. And happiness, you can have no happiness without peace. There has to be peace. How is that going to be possible otherwise? Listen.
Coming here are coming from gang-ridden, corruption-ridden, violence-ridden.
You think that's just all it is? You think I came from a gang-ridden in Iran? I lived there 11 years.
I think the majority of, certainly coming from South America.
Most people come here because what you're doing to me, you're sitting across from me right now.
Right.
Millions of people are going to watch this. In America, you can call me out. You can say whatever you want.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen.
Right.
You're free and safe here, right?
Sure. Freedom of speech has nothing to do with
You can't do that in
capitalism.
Iran. Of course it is. There's a lot of elements with America. You're talking incentive. The amount of benefits America offers against
Right.
other countries, it's so much higher, where somebody with big dreams, incentives,
Right.
they're willing to come and say, I want to come to America, please let me in. And
Right.
some come and take advantage of it. But to say the individual that's working 3 to 5 jobs, if you do that for a season, if you do that for 2 years, if you do that for 5 years, fine. If you do that for 20, 30 years, you're doing something wrong.
But the point is, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Those are the inalienable rights. We shouldn't have to earn those rights. We shouldn't have to earn the right to.
There you go. There you go. You shouldn't be enslaved to a system that basically looks to work you to death just so that you can come to a point. I mean, not like I said, not everyone, that's not their ambition in life. We all have different ambitions, and it shouldn't be where the corporations have a stronghold on our necks, basically forcing us to comply to their will. It's a lie, because the majority of people are not going to be wealthy. It's like when people play, the lotto. I mean, there's 1 in a billion chances you're going to win. I mean, it's just, it's not as easy, which is why there's so much corruption and deceit in the marketplace. Because people are willing to lie to you and to swindle you just to get ahead.
You do
Healthcare
have to earn it.
Earn the right. No,
I
because
actually-
this is just, we just want to live, exist. We can't work our blood, sweat, and tears just to survive. That's
Yeah.
a horrible dystopian world that we live in right now.
No, then what do you think we're here for? To just sit around and play video games?
We're
What do you
here-
think we're here for?
You see how he dismisses this young man, and basically to protect his interest, to protect his business interest, to protect capitalism. It's like, the Bible says you can't worship God and money. You can't. And that applies to America. And we need to get back to our Christian roots and what's important in life. Family, clothing, food, and shelter. That comes first. If somebody wants to be a millionaire, they can go for it. But otherwise than that, I am fully in agreement with this young man. And I'm 61 years old.